Welcome back to another episode of the Game Boy Quest.
Team Canada.
What's up guys, SeeJayAre here with a pretty epic package from my buddy Neil. Neil's helped me out in the past before, I believe, so much thanks to Neil for sending this over. He messaged me a while back. I got these probably a month or two ago, so Neil, I apologize for not getting to this sooner. I think it was just before Christmas, actually. It wasn't that long ago. But I was shocked when I opened this box. I had totally forgot, and I think Neil contacted me and mentioned that he had some games for my collection, and then he forgot to send them, and he sent them, and I forgot that they were even coming, so thank you so much, Neil. This was much more than I was ever expecting someone to send me. Neil was nice enough to just donate these to my Game Boy collection, so thank you very much. If you guys have any games that you are looking to get rid of, you can contact me through Instagram is the easiest way, or Facebook. Just message me, let me know what you have, what you want for it. You'll find a link to my collector's database in the description below, which will show you all the games I currently have in my collection. Game Boy Color games, the black cartridge Game Boy games, they're listed under Game Boy Color, just so you know. If you see a black cartridge game not on there, I might already have it because it's under Game Boy Color. So big thanks to Neil. Neil left me a nice little letter here. I won't read it out loud. He does have, his friend has a GoFundMe going. I'll leave a description or a link in the description below for her GoFundMe. I went over and donated some money. If you want to check it out and donate to this GoFundMe, feel free to check out the link in the description below. And I'm also going to post a link. This same girl actually creates guitar pedals, so I think that's how she raises some money also. I'm going to post that in the description below. Care of my buddy Neil, who was nice enough to send these over, so thank you for doing that, and feel free to check out the links in the description below. I'm going to go through these. I'm going to start with the ones, there were some that I already had. Now you're going to see, I shouldn't spoil these, you're going to see these cases here. So he also sent over these amazing custom cases. So we'll start here. I'll go through the ones that I didn't have for my collection. So these are actually going into my collection, and I'm really happy to have this first one. Nemesis. I think I've seen it around in the wild before, just never at a price point that I wanted to pick it up at. Decent little shooter on the Game Boy. Shmup. These cases are amazing. Custom cases made specifically for Game Boy games. So the slot there is made for a Game Boy game. And a lot of these games, Neil has the official manual with too. So I'm blown away by this. This is really amazing. Thank you. Again, Neil, I'm going to say that throughout the video. But Nemesis, a decent little shmup for the Game Boy. And I didn't have it in my collection. Really happy to see this guy too. Battletoads in Ragnarok World. A really good version of Battletoads on the Game Boy. Again, pretty tough, made by Rare, but yeah, it's a pocket version of Battletoads. Let's see. And again, the games were in like mint condition. I actually had to take a closer look at them because they almost looked like they could be repos because they were just in such good shape, but they are not. They're actual cartridges. And this guy's got the manual, so yeah. Battletoads in Ragnarok World, very happy to get that. Pipe Dream. I actually have played quite a bit of Pipe Dream in my life. I played it on the Apple II computer, the old Mac computers. My aunt had it. I played this, and I think it was like a version of Choplifter on the old Mac computer. So basically, you're starting, it's a puzzle type game. You're starting at one end. You have different shapes of pipes, and you need to guide the liquid to the other end using the pipes that you're given. So Pipe Dream is pretty straightforward, but a pretty fun game. Here is this is Arcade Classics 4, Defender and Joust. Not a whole lot to say about these two. I believe they have the Super Game Boy enhancement, so they'll do the they'll actually produce like the border, so it'll look like kind of like the arcade machine, which is kind of a cool touch. It'll look like the bezel for the actual arcade version. So this is a really cool game. Yeah, it's a Super Game Boy enhanced game pack. Yeah, Joust and Defender, two classic arcade games, and again with the manual. Another enhanced game, Frogger. Not a lot to say about Frogger. You can never go wrong with Frogger. The Game Boy version is pretty good. Frogger's the type of game that's been, it's been ported to every system under the sun, and it doesn't take a whole lot of like good graphics or graphical fidelity or horsepower to run a decent game of Frogger. So the Game Boy version is actually pretty good, and I'm hopefully running footage of it right here. We got Miss Pac-Man. Same thing, another arcade game by Namco. Pretty basic game and standard version on the Game Boy. This is Tetris Blast. So an interesting variation on Tetris itself. And again, another game enhanced for the Super Game Boy. I really enjoy these enhanced cartridges because I've been playing them a lot lately on my Retron 5. So the Retron 5 automatically adds the cool background. So yeah, it's puzzle game. To be honest with you, I don't have a whole lot of experience with Tetris Blast. Two really games that I'm really excited about here. Final Fantasy Legend 2 and 3. So happy to have these in my collection. I really wish I had a case for number 1. I have number 1. You can see it's got the manual again. These cases are amazing. Both have the manual. Both are in like mint condition. I'm really blown away by this package. Final Fantasy Legend. Pretty decent little RPGs for the Game Boy. Very simple. Turn-based RPGs. Next up is Fortified Zone. I had a lot of hopes for this game. To me, it kind of looked like a Metal Gear. It kind of reminded me of Metal Gear on the Game Boy Color. Top-down perspective. Kind of like a top-down action game. Shooting game, top-down perspective. It wasn't as good, nearly as good as I was hoping it was. Fortified Zone. Great one here. DuckTales 2. I pretty recently just got the original DuckTales in my collection for the Game Boy. Pretty faithful versions to the NES. I always kind of describe them as like, they always feel like kind of like a chibi version of the NES games. Everything's just kind of condensed and the character sprites are quite large. Top Ranking Tennis. This also goes by the name Top Rank Tennis. I thought was interesting. When I was putting in my database, there was only a listing for Top Rank Tennis, not Top Ranking. Qbert. I've never really been into Qbert. I don't really get it. I'm not a big Qbert fan. I've played it on the arcade, on my arcade machine over there. I'm just never been a Qbert guy. But super happy to have this collection. And it's got the manual again. Amazing. And probably the one that I'm most excited about is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 Radical Rescue. Now from what I hear, this is actually, I believe, the best Ninja Turtles game on the Game Boy. It's like side-scrolling beat-em-up. Haven't played it a whole lot, but from what I saw, it seemed pretty interesting. So this is one that I'm going to play a little bit more of right now. Typically, I would play these games more than I didn't have a chance to play them a whole lot. Some of them I did, but like Tetris Blast, I've still got to get to before I do these videos, so I can tell you a little bit more about them. But there's quite the stack here, so it was a little bit tough to get through them all. We also got a couple really nice Game Boy Color games. This is Dragon Warrior 3. Super happy to have that. Azure Dreams, a RPG. This is by, who made this? Konami. Yeah, looks really interesting. We got Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 also. So 1, 2, and 3 on the Game Boy Color. And then classic Bubble Bobble. So some really nice Game Boy Color games to add to the collection. I just recently got that Game Boy from Jelly Belly Customs, the modded and backlit Game Boy. So that's, I'm going to try those out on there. And then these were some of the games I had. I already hooked up Matt with a few of these. I passed them on to him. Double Dragon is a fantastic game on the Game Boy. Really good version. Super Mario Land. Classic. Kirby's Block and Ball. This is a really, really good game. Really enjoy playing that one. And Super Mario Land 2. Really happy to add these cases to my collection. Super RC Pro-Am. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Turtles 2, Back from the Sewers. And Metroid 3, Return of Samus, which was recently converted to or remade on the 3DS, which is a game that I still need to play. So that's it. Huge thanks to Neil. I really appreciate these games. Really appreciate people donating stuff. These games are always going to stay in my collection. I kind of consider this as a museum. And Neil, if you're ever in the area, I'm pretty sure you're not from around here, but I always tell people, anybody who donates to the collection will give you access to the collection. So if somebody wants to come borrow something, come down here and play the games, I think of it like a library or a museum. If you donate, you get access to it. So Neil, you have access to my game library anytime you're in my neighborhood. So thank you guys so much for watching. Do me a big favor and feel free to check out the links in the description below. And thank you so much for watching. Until the next episode.